Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mary Walter Radio, the live cast. Thank you so much to Steve for that music. I appreciate that. So welcome. Yeah, we got the camera back. Can you tell? We got our new camera, and based on the settings, we think the old one was probably screwed up from the time we got it. So this is so much better. So, and I do have a nice shirt on under here. I have it because I just did a hit on Newsmax, but I'm freezing, so I had to put a sweatshirt on. So, and I had a cat on me, and he was, kneading, and I didn't want him to ruin my shirt, and I do want to get all hairy. So anyway, so here I am. So please, if you've not done so, please subscribe on Rumble, on YouTube. Please follow me on Getter. Please thumbs up to the video. Do appreciate it. And if you go back and watch some of the other ones, please do the same thing. Thumbs up, please. Again, I got hundreds of views and 11 thumbs up. You're screwing with my algorithm, kids. Okay. That's all I ask. Just thumbs up. I don't ask for anything else. That's it. Just that. Super simple. So let's see what's coming up for me. So as of right now, it's just Friday, 11:15 over on Newsmax. I think that's Newsline. I think at that time, not 100% sure. On Newsmax, I guess I should look that up so I am sure. And then every Tuesday at around 5:15, 5:30, I am with Kay Smythe Hill on the Todd Starnes show on Newsmax 2. So if you don't subscribe to it, if it's not part of your package for however you get your television, you can go to YouTube and just type in Newsmax, the number 2 and live, and it'll come up. And it's kind of like the same thing that you do on YouTube here. You can leave comments, etc. But it just seems to be, best I can tell, a lot of people not watching the live stream at all, just fighting and going back and forth with each other. That's what it seems like. So, all right. So that's what I got going on. This guy right here. Hello, Chris Tremoglie. How are you?
Not bad. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Boy, I see you on Newsmax a lot lately.
Yes, it's been a good run this past couple months or so.
Yeah, it's great to see your smiling face on TV.
Well, thank you. Likewise to you and all your media appearances. Radio,
yeah.
Obviously can't see you on radio, but hearing your voice and seeing your face.
Well, it's mostly, like I said, obviously my TV is all Newsmax, so there's that.
Great network. You have great minds, great network. There we go.
There it is. It is. So, okay. Let's see who's here. You know what we do. Chris, by the way, you can follow him. I put it up on all of the socials. Chris W. Tremo, Tremo, is how you find him on X. Now, how do they find you everywhere else?
Just Google my Italian-American last name, and I pretty much show up after that. So, or you can go to the Washington Examiner, and I'm a editor and commentary columnist there as well.
There you go. All right. I just bill you as editor because I think that sounds super cool.
I love it. Thank you. If I ever make you super, super big, you're definitely my public relations guru #1.
Thank you. I like to enhance just a little tiny bit. I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Better to oversell. Well, if you're a politician, they always oversell and underdeliver.
Correct.
But in most things, you're not really overselling if you say you're an editor, because you are. So. All right, so let's see who's here. Sal is here. Wild Bill is here. He said, I won't be giving you any burnt Starbucks coffee. He was watching Todd, where I was talking about the Starbucks coffee and how it was too much. Do you hear a feedback? I hear feedback in my headphones. Do you hear it?
I don't hear anything, no. You sound perfectly clear to me.
Okay, well, I'll just have to deal with that. Yes, that was when we were on with Todd. Sal wants to hear the electronic Mozart version of Beastie Boys. Well, that would be Ron Squeaky on here. He's the one who did the music. Except for that one that I played today, that was Steve from Now Tax USA gave me that. So I think that's who gave it to me. Scott's getting lots of snow. Who is, let's see, Watching Your Back is here. Star Driver's here. Here's Ron. Dare say electronic Mozart version of Beastie Boys music is above my skill set. Hold on, the IT department's here. Yes, dear. Yeah, I hear it in my head. You want to try? Hold on, the IT department's here. You're gonna get to make your debut. Here you go. Say hello to everybody. Figure it out. Here, say when I'm talking. Do you hear me say? Do you hear like it's all? Do you hear it? It's like double. You hear that? Yeah, it's weird, right?
It's funny. I don't hear a thing on my end here.
It's only when I talk. So the he's going to the settings. So we'll see what happens. This happens, Chris. You know it. This happens at least once a show.
That's
where
that's how it works. You know.
Yeah, at least once a show. But then the IT guy gets to make his debut. Oh, do that again. Do that. Yeah, that's good. Leave that thing right there. I think fixed it. Nope, a little bit. It's better than it was before. Okay. No. But, no. It's messy.
And now you sound like Charlie Brown's mom. Oh, there you're back.
Do I really?
Yeah, for a little while there, you were going.
He said I sounded like Charlie Brown's mom.
How about now?
Now you're good. Or I mean, you were kind of good before, but you know, you're not Charlie Brown's mom anymore.
Okay, I'm not Charlie Brown's mom. Okay, so this is good. So, you know, when we got the new camera, we had to reset everything.
Okay.
So when the camera came back, because this is the second new camera we've had. So
gotcha.
It's the second new one. Okay. Oh, do you want to stick your head in and say hello to everyone so that you don't have to come back down later? I don't know if Art is here yet. Say hello. IT department.
Hello. Hi, Art, if you're there. If not, you're missing out.
Did you say hello to Chris?
Oh, hi. Hi, Chris.
So this is the Villanova grad, correct?
Art's really my
No, wait.
I always get this wrong. I know I always get this wrong.
I'm a Gentile.
So you're the okay. So you're the Villanova. There you go.
Him? So I'll tell you the story. When we got married, you had to book the church, the chapel on campus 14 months in advance. The first working day, 14 months in advance. So like we wanted to get married in October. So 14 months before that, the first working day of the month, you had to go wait out, and then the line would be outside. Like, so we were there, like we got there at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night with our lawn chairs, our chaise lounge, and you camp out overnight. And there's just a line of people, and don't cut in front of that line because you're, Catholic school. And every now and then a priest would walk by and go, "You must really love each other," right? Because we'd all be camped out in line. And they had 2 weddings a day on Saturday.
Wow.
4 weddings, 2 for members of the parish and 2 for Villanova alumni every Saturday. So you only had 2, 4, 6, you only had 8 dates, 4 days, 2 times, 8 times during the month of October that you could get married. So by the time we get there were 2 days available one time. And one of the days was the Saturday of homecoming weekend. And I knew that if it was a Saturday of homecoming weekend, my mother would be outside the chapel screaming for people to shut up. So after we did that, after we booked the church and we got our date, we got our time, we go and they give you a priest. This is who's going to marry you. And I had a priest that I wanted to marry us from when I was at Villanova.
Okay.
And he was now the director. He was director of student life. So we trudge over there. We're like, camped out overnight, and we went over to see him. And so we're talking to Father Stack, rest his soul. And he knew who I was, and I knew everybody there. I was talking to everybody. And he goes to my husband, he goes, did you graduate from Villanova? We asked him what year he graduated. And he goes, oh, well, did you go to Villanova as well? And my husband goes, no, I went to Lafayette, and I kid you not, I'm over here. I'm on this side. And my husband was on this side. And he goes like this. He says to my husband, so, and when he said no, he didn't go to Villanova. Father, literally, I kid you not, went like this. So he just turned his back on my husband because he didn't go to Villanova.
So next time we talk, I definitely will remember you're the Villanova one. So I know there was a connection with you both. So I guess I kind of got the fact that you both were married at Villanova and something. I know because every time you seem like I always get this wrong. So my commitment to you is I now remember. I'll just go up with what's it.
He would love. That's right. Every time in church when they talk, they go through the thing and they say the bishops and the Pope. When I say Pope Leo, both of us go.
Right. Yeah.
Our fees up. All right, where are we? We went off on a tangent. Rebecca is here. Everybody's saying hello to everyone. Star Driver, picture is narrow. It's never like that on my computer. That's probably because you chose the vertical option on YouTube instead of the horizontal option. I tell everybody every single week, when you go on YouTube, if you see the title and then there's a square like this that looks like a cell phone, that's the shape that the screen is going to be in. Here, can I put this up here like this? Can you see that now? See, it's in that shape now for the people. You can see it, right? Chris, can you see that shape? Yeah. So the up and down one is the one you chose. If you don't like that, log out and go back and pick the other one. Oh, so I thought it was kind of self-explanatory, but anyway. Okay, Mango Mush is here. Yay! Our friends from WPHT are here. Looks like TikTok short with the camera. Yeah, that's just because you chose that one, because on the one that we're looking at right now, it's perfectly fine. The horizontal is perfectly fine. You guys are looking at the vertical. Star Driver says, Chris, capital letters, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Hello, Star Driver.
Northern Ireland is back. Yes, thank you. We love that. Can we get a full screen shot? What is the price? What is? Hold on. Let me hold on. Let me pull this up on YouTube. Hang on one second, kids. Let me pull this up on YouTube. Yeah, you're just looking at the wrong one, kids. You're just looking at the one that is vertical instead of horizontal, because I'm looking at it at YouTube right now, and I have two choices: one horizontal, one vertical. Rumble is all horizontal. All right, Rumble's horizontal. D-Man says, we don't hear an echo at all. We're all good. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody on Rumble. Please rumble. Appreciate that. There's a background noise in the audio. Well, we're just going to have to live with that. Let's see. Oh, making fun of my hatred of robots. I'm scared of robots. Saw your Newsmax segment with Kay. Excellent, but too short. It's actually longer than most. They actually give us a good chunk at 5:15, so that's actually a really good slot. The slots get shorter the further along you go in the hour. So 5:15 is actually a pretty good shot, so I can't complain. Hi, IT guy. Those are DSA voices interfering. Yep, but D-Man says over on Rumble there is no echo at all. Sounds like a fan. That fan running is the heater probably at my feet. So because it's freezing in this room, because the windows are from the 1800s and we do have storm windows, it's not good enough. So there's a little space heater running if that's what you're hearing. So sorry about that. Girl, got to stay warm. All right. Otherwise, that's why I have a sweatshirt on.
Balmy today. I mean, it was like, nice 32 degrees.
That's so funny that you say that. So the IT department comes home from work. He goes, and his hands are always cold. He gets like Raynaud's, in his hands. He goes, I don't understand it. I put my gloves on in the office. I walk downstairs. I get in the car. I blast the heat. I'm not cold. He goes, because it was like 34 when I left the office. It was like 32 when I left the office this evening. Because It was warm. Because when I get home and I'm freezing.
Pretty much shorts weather.
Well, a lot of guys go shorts weather in this heat. You should go to Israel. There is no line. I was just in Israel. Well, not just, but I was in Israel less than a year ago, a couple months ago. Star Driver, you may have to create a new page. I haven't changed my settings on my computer. Same one I use every week. I don't know what to tell you. I could send the IT department to wherever you are, but I think by the time he gets there, we're probably going to be done. Let's see. I have no idea what that means. Somebody who's foreign posted something. I have no idea what that is. Not at all, Mary. The new camera is wrong. I chose nothing.
So.
Hey, babe. Can you pull it up and look at it? Because I'm looking at it on YouTube and I'm looking at it on Rumble and it's fine. Oh, he's coming. Here he goes. All right. Dottie's here. All right. We're going to move on from all of this.
I mean, they're both
fine. See, look, here's his phone and it's perfectly normal. There's two. There's the vertical and the horizontal on his phone. So I don't know what the problem is, kids. I don't know. Up, Star Driver. I logged out, logged back in. Now it's fine. There we go. There we go. All that for nothing. So this is very funny. Yesterday, I was at a town meeting for this. Our town's going to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday. All 3,500 of us, and we're having a parade. So I don't know how that's going to work. If we have a parade, who's going to watch it?
Right.
There's only 3,500 of us, but anyway, we're going to have a mile-long parade. Anyway. I'm on X because it's kind of boring. You know, I only pay attention to the parts I'm involved in. So I'm on X and I'm going through and Sal pops up on my feed and he's like, "Where's the link to the podcast? I can't find it." And I had a moment of panic going, "Oh my God, is it Tuesday? Did I miss the podcast? How did neither one of us know?" And I actually had to ask my husband, I'm like, "Is today Tuesday?" And he looks at me and goes, "No, it's Monday. What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Okay, I feel better. It's right. Sal." So Sal, I will never consult the Aztec calendar again to see what day it is. All right. So if anybody's having a problem, please just log out and log back in. Oh, Star, you're hilarious. How can you be cold when you're smoking hot? Mango Mush, just sign out and sign back in. Apparently, it's kind of like rebooting. That's all I can tell you, Mango Mush. I'm so sorry. The new camera sucks. Well, what if it's maybe you? Nobody else has a problem anymore. There's Art. Art, you missed the IT department. I see a blonde hottie and John Lovitz on my screen. Oh my God, I can see that. I can see how you look like John Lovitz.
That's not okay. Ouch, I think.
No, that's not an ouch at all. John Lovitz is adorable. I think John Lovitz is adorable. And honestly, you're a better looking John Lovitz than that. I think you're good looking John Lovitz. All right. So let's talk about a couple things here. So if you want to find Chris's writings, you just go to the Washington Examiner and check him out. One of the things you wrote about is, let's talk about the unmasking of ICE. So yes. the left is, it looks like they got a deal. They got this vote passed. So they're not going to be defunding the government. But what the Democrats are doing is they're trying to blur the line, like they blur the line between legal and illegal immigrant.
All the time.
They're blurring the line, though, between ICE and DHS because they want to defund DHS because of the actions of ICE, right? But we all know ICE is funded till 2029. It's funded in the big, beautiful bill till 2029. So it's already done. So what they would have done by defunding DHS is they would have just really defunded TSA. So if you're traveling, it would have been a pain in the butt. There would have been the air traffic controllers not getting paid again. They would have been defunding FEMA, which that's helpful, especially in weather like this. Yeah. So they would have been defunding stuff that has nothing to do with evil ICE that they're railing against. So one of the things they want is they want to demask ICE. Why do you think this is a bad idea?
Because they want to do this solely because ICE officers are, this year's villain with the left and the Democrats. In 2020, it was the police officers. 2026, it's now ICE agents. And their only reason this is, discussed or mentioned is when we see how violent and radical the left is. I mean, they show it every day. All these peaceful protests that coincidentally involve enormous amounts of violence. And what they're going to do is, if you unmask ICE agents, it makes them easy to identify, which is what these Democrat politicians want to do. And they don't want to identify them just so people who might do something wrong can suffer consequences, because they still will suffer consequences regardless. If you see their face and say hypothetically an ICE agent, ICE officer does something wrong, and there's going to be some accountability. You don't think that DHS or the ICE executives, people in charge, are going to be able to identify the agent or officer that was involved? Of course they are. This is so they can get public scorn and public, harassment, and have their lives threatened. I mean, look at everything ICE has been going through just the past year since President Trump's second term began. They've had cars, being weaponized to try to run them over. They had a sniper at a facility try to shoot ICE agents. There was a plot, I believe, on last July 4th in which there was a group of, left-wing radicals that tried to lure ICE agents out and kill them. Constant, confrontations with public. I mean, this is their game. This is what they want. They want violence. So any effort to remove the mask of ICE officers is only and solely because they want those officers to suffer harm and violence. That's it. There's no other reason, no other explanation. They want them to be shamed publicly. They want them to be doxxed. They want them to be harassed. That's all this has to do with it. And it's shameful that we have elected officials who are going out vilifying and demonizing American citizens entrusted with protecting communities from violent, illegal, criminal, illegal immigrants. To be redundant there, sorry. To like cause harm and rescue and protect innocent people from them, and they're trying to vilify them and demonize them as if they're like an occupying evil force. These are American citizens. This is an American, they're American government employees, and Democrats are vilifying them.
Absolutely. And it's about threatening them, because here's a really good point from Sal. Sal says, could it be that Dems want ICE unmasked so that they're easily ID'd and thereby can scare them into backing down in fear of their families being doxxed?
Absolutely. It's intimidation.
It's absolute fascism. It's fascism, right?
See, I would call it, I don't like the term use fascism, because I feel like our side tries to like out fascist the left. I like to call them like either the Bolsheviks or communists, because that's what this is really rooted in. If you go back to the communist orthodoxy, communist manifesto, it calls for violence to overthrow the system. Yet for some reason we seem to just focus on the fascist side, and I think that's because it's just Democrats, have blasted that term into the popular culture and the lexicon there. But I mean, this is really core orthodox Marxism, and this is what we need to kind of identify it as and keep on pushing that point, because that's what they are. They're brutal, violent tactics. Have been going on for over a century. And if you go back even more recent times, you could look at like starting in like the mid 1960s to now, the left has been like full of violence and trying to implement their ideology and agenda. So this is sadly nothing new. It's despicable that we have these government officials, these elected officials engaging in this and trying to cause harm as if, these officers are like an invading force, when what they're doing is basically cleaning up the mess that Democrats' radical illegal immigration ideology has caused.
So you said a couple of things that I want to get into, and one of them is about the Democrats and their rhetoric. I mean, and I think it's because Oliver wanted to talk there. I think that's because they want to cause chaos, because if they cause chaos, people get tired of the chaos, right? And so it's exhaustion. They put us through fatigue until we get to the point where like, okay, if you just go away and just shut the F up, so we'll give them what they want, right? It's like a parent with a toddler throwing a fit, and to get them to stop screaming, you just give them the iPad or whatever it is they want. And they did it during Trump's last 4 years. They're going to do it. And how many people said, well, what I didn't like about Trump's first term, it was just so chaotic. I can't vote for him again. It was just so chaotic. I'm like, it was the Democrats causing the chaos. So do you think they do another 4 years? Are we going to see 3 more years of chaos?
Oh, absolutely. And it is difficult because the legacy media is kind of an accomplice in all this. Like this whole left-wing messaging, and then you kind of broadcast it. There have been numerous violent criminals, murderers, rapists, pedophiles, drug traffickers that ICE has arrested, that ICE has removed out of this country. Name one. And I would argue that you can and no one else can, because you don't hear about this in the legacy media. Or if it is, it's a brief story where it's in publication. It's like on page 32 at the bottom on the right-hand corner. They don't talk about all the good that's doing, yet you constantly will know the names of Renee Good and Alex Preddy because of what happened, that the media kind of reinforces it, and they repeat it over and over. And it portrays a civil unrest, which kind of either creates fatigue or makes people scared. And they figured, okay, well, if you get Donald Trump or Republicans out of office, we'll get normal, there won't be these riots and violence, and that's kind of a strategy. So it's nothing new. It's sad. I hope that by now there is a silent majority that's aware of what's going on and that recognizes this and that acknowledges this, that it is part of the strategy and isn't falling for the games. I mean, you're always going to have, in the countries, basically like 50-50, give or take, on Democrat and Republican support. So you're always going to see large amount of Democrats protesting and think, oh, this is what, as if it's a reflection of the country, but it's really not. And people have to remember that. And Republicans have to make sure to focus on that messaging in the Trump administration, and they're actually doing a good job doing that to reinforce that this is just a loud vocal minority that's well funded. By the way, that's another thing that's taken us. These aren't organic protests. These are highly organized, well funded protests being organized by radical left wing groups, Soros funded groups, socialist and communist groups, and none of that's an exaggeration. By the way, these are all documented facts that are pushing these things and that are causing this. And the one thing I will say is that these left-wing groups are highly organized and motivated, and they do have an operation system and network that just is far above anything, unfortunately, on the right side. And that's what we're kind of grasping with and dealing with in these whole things, and this fake outrage and loud violence, which is highly organized agitation and all that stuff.
All right. Well, you said a lot there, so let's see where we go. Radar says hello. That's a new viewer. D-Man says, hey, on the chat here, select that thumbs up if you're over on Rumble, please. Yes. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and Getter, I think you can thumbs up on Getter as well. Please, please, please. Let's see. Star Driver says the Democrats don't want to go after their families. There are citizens who will go above and beyond to protect these people. Maybe so, but they also want that too. They want violence. They want to provoke. This is what they do. Their whole existence for being is to just goad and provoke to try to get a reaction. And, I don't know how some of these ICE agents do this. I don't know how some of these cops do this, because I don't know if you saw the video, a Mexican guy, not even ICE agents, but because they see the car, they think it's ICE agents. It was like 3 guys who just went into a store, and a Mexican store, to go get coffee. And they I don't know, iced coffee. And it looked like iced coffee. And the guy's coming out, and this woman comes out, the white woman, of course, slaps it out of his hand. And the guy's standing there like, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And honestly, I would have grabbed somebody else's and thrown it right in her face. Right. Like, that would have been me. And this guy just got in his car. And I was like, because they thought they were ICE. They weren't ICE agents. And this is this part of the problem. These people have gone, any white guy, even they're going after Mexicans. I saw them go after a black guy who had on an American flag sweatshirt and demanded, they're harassing him down the street, trying to take it off him. How dare you wear that? He's like, I'm just walking down the street. Yeah. And they're attacking people.
And to the point of this comment here is how many, there are, well, like, as I mentioned before, well-documented incidents of violence against ICE officers. Like I said, there was that plot on July 4th. There was at a Dallas detention center, a sniper tried to kill people.
Yes, and he killed the Mexicans.
Yeah. Have you ever heard Democrats condemn this and say, stop doing this? Nothing. You never hear that at all. Maybe John Fetterman is probably the only one that's doing something to that effect. And kudos and applause to him. But to the point of Democrats don't want to go after their families, they're wantonly enabling this to happen, because when these violence things does happen, there were Molotov cocktails that were being thrown at ICE officers as far back as June in California. Did Gavin Newsom come up and say don't throw Molotov cocktails? Did any Democrat do that? No one does. So this is part of, as you were saying, an organized chaos, and that's pretty much what it is, and that's what they want to do and want to create to advance their agenda.
All right. Alejandro Ramirez says Democrats and the left party from Mexico called Morena want to destroy the Trump's administration through the 52 consulates. Now, interesting, Alejandro. By the way, welcome. I believe you're new. Welcome. I've heard stories that some of this was being funneled through Mexican consulates in the United States.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I've only heard the stories. I haven't seen anything to verify that, which I try to do. I do like to put my tinfoil hat on every now and then, but I have not heard anything concrete about that.
Well,
have you?
I haven't heard anything about that, but one thing, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, because the one thing, I don't know if people are aware, is how enormous and vast the left's network is. To kind of go tangential here, there were protests in Italy. Antifa in Italy were attacking police officers and holding protests because of some unrelated incident to America politics, but it was going on, and the violence was going. The same type of violence that you see there was going on here. And what did they have in common? They're part of the left's foot soldiers around the world. And this is what we're competing with. So if there is something going through Mexican consulates, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I wanted to share this. Let me see if I can do this. Present or invite, share screen. Oh, I think I can do it. Did you see this? I don't know if you saw this. This is a pro-ICE billboard in San Francisco ahead of the Super Bowl, and it declares the defensive player of the year, ICE.
Nice.
I don't know if you can see that. You cannot.
I still stay. I see it here, but I didn't see that before to do your show.
So. Yeah, let me see if I can get this.
I'm surprised I still stay.
A new digital billboard at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco is evoking.
Oh no, that's just a story about it. I'm just seeing if there's a close up. Something it said somebody can't win defense and neither can America. I've got a cat. There it is. Defensive player of the year, ICE.
That's awesome. That's what they need to do. There needs to be a lot of people shy away from this, but this public relations and going on the offense is much needed. It doesn't. Until Trump, this never really happened with Republicans.
Exactly. And Trump's trying to teach them, but there were too many of them who are too happy losing. They're very, very happy. Just constantly being taken the out. Like they don't know how to fight to win. And that's a never-ending conversation that we have here. Let's see. That was very interesting. Thank you, Alejandro. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed, please do. Star Driver says the chaos will stop when the money to them stops, and that's the problem. And that's what they have to find out. They only have 3 years left to follow the money. And I suspect that everyone in the swamp is going to do everything they can to prevent that from happening.
Most likely. Although Trump did say they were going to try to go after the organizations funding these protests, which was encouraging and a delight to see because, as mentioned before, up until Trump, Republicans never did this. They just kind of accepted the protests and the violence as the status quo and like tossed their hands up and were like, gee golly, what can we do? And, Trump came along and said, no, we can. So that's good that we're doing that this time around. And it's a lot of work because they had a huge head start. So it's going to take a lot, but, it needs to be done.
It seems to be pretty easy when you see like the buses that are picking them up. Go to the bus company and go, who chartered this bus?
Oh,
FBI. Who chartered this bus? We want it out. Tell us.
It's easier than that because on the protest signs, if you see, they put the organization's name at the bottom, and you could just go through the entire part. Go to that organization and see every group that's linked with one another. Their board members do all of that. So they're advertising who they are. And for the longest time, Republicans were just like, oops.
But I think that they probably funnel the money through group after group after group after group after group. Find out, start it, who gave you the money, and then go back from there. In that's how I would do it. By the way, I swear I'm not picking my nose. Oliver's on my lap, and he's sitting in front of the heater, which is blowing his fur in my face. It's coming off of him, and it just keeps. It's stuck in my nose, so I swear. Yes, wear us down, exactly. Here's one. Kicking Granny doesn't love us. Stop repeating what Trump says. He lies. The chaos is caused by them. Can't find your own words. You sound like parrots. The chaos is caused by Trump? That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Join us in reality there, whatever that screen person name is. I can't
Kicking Granny. Kicking Granny one.
Come join us in reality and leave your left-wing bubble, please. Because none of what you said is true at all. But thank you for watching.
Yes, exactly. I will put your comments up on the screen as long as they're not obscene. I will put them up on the screen, and we'll talk about them for people who are listening to the audio later. I'm not opposed to differing opinions. They don't scare me because I'm not a liberal, so I can handle emotionally someone who disagrees with me. That's fine.
Free speech and diversity of opinion is welcome here.
Exactly. John Edward Big, I guess. Trump's first term, 10% unemployment. Well, we're in Trump's second term. That was 8 terms ago. So 8 years ago. So
what was Biden's employment? I mean, what does this have to do with anything?
It doesn't. They can't, but Trump. Right. All right. Art says libs today act like WWE fans in the 80s. It's like the 60s. They really believe what they're watching is real and that ICE are the villains. So I have a friend who, I don't know if he's going to pop in here. I dropped my phone and I can't pick it up because the cat's here. So, oh no, here it is. He usually texts me because he refuses to get an account. because he's a Luddite. He's afraid social media is going to find him. And he loves wrestling. And I'm like, it's not real, right? And he gets very upset with me. They believe that they really believe what they're watching is real and that the ICE are the villains. The unhinged, unwashed libs will not stop until ICE folks are killed. Sadly, I believe that. I don't even think they stopped then.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sue says the Democrats are petulant children. Stop the insanity. John Edward says 90 million eligible voters didn't vote in the last election. Yes, but how many non-eligible voters did?
Well, not only that, but so what? I mean, that happens every election. Next,
Yeah. Undocumented. More MAGA BS. John says, okay, but I have no idea what you're talking about there. Jeremy says, stop gaslighting. In that little story is represent Democrats. If you support Donald Trump, you're morally wrong. This is what I love about the left, and this is fine. God bless you, but you guys always think you hold the moral high ground.
Yes.
And I think that if you're intellectually honest, you sometimes realize that you don't hold the moral high ground. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump does. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump says. I don't agree with everything the IT department does or says. Heck, I do things and like a month later, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Right? Or I do things but being a mature adult and being intellectually honest is being able to admit that. Being able to say, you know what, that was a dumb decision that I made. Or I really shouldn't have said that, and going and apologizing for it. So that's being intellectually honest. If you think you always hold the moral high ground, you're not being intellectually honest with yourself or emotionally honest either, in my humble opinion.
And as far as moral high grounds, I choose to follow the side that doesn't want people and innocent women like Lake and Riley, Rachel Maureen, Jocelyn Nungare, Kayla Hamilton murdered because of radical legal immigration policy that's implemented by Democrats that allowed this to happen. So as far as moral high ground, I'm pretty good with where I'm looking over top.
Yeah, exactly. Jeremy, also very, very prolific here, says, so when an ICE agent shoots you in the back, that's not chaos. Well, see, that's not going to happen to me because I'm not going to impede law enforcement. By the way, ICE did the exact same thing when Barack Obama was president.
Right, exactly.
But you know why there was no chaos? The exact same thing. But you know why there was no chaos? Because he's a Democrat, but also because the cities and the states cooperated with Barack Obama and handed these they followed the law, the federal law, as they are legally required to do. And they handed them over at the place at which they were being held. And it was easy peasy, lemon squeezy, no big deal. But because it's Donald Trump, the useful idiots have been called out and are being paid to go throw their bodies in front of cars. Did you see that one chick bounce off that car because she threw her body in front of it? It's like, she bounced. It's like, well, you don't throw your body in front of a car when it's moving. There you go. That's what's going to happen. There's a woman who says, oh, I shot a pregnant woman in the stomach. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I can't tell if she's pregnant or fat. She's saying she's pregnant. I don't know, number one. But number two, if you're pregnant, why would you risk the life of your unborn child and go to a riot? Like, what is wrong with you? Why would you put yourself in that position?
That's how unhinged they are. And to that point, what you were saying, I forget the screen name of the person that commented, but two points there is one, like you said, this happened during Barack Obama. So screenwriter,
Jeremy Bullwinkle.
Jeremy Bullwinkle, what is your opinion there when it happened under Obama? Leave a comment about that there, wise guy. And second, I would point out that, yes, this happened to Obama, but they also didn't have a willing media to kind of advance messaging. And these radical left-wing organizations weren't organizing and funding these protests that you see on TV. So to sit back and be so foolish to think that this is just some organic protest, and wrong, sorry, buddy, this is all organized by radical left-wing organizations and Democrats. So, yeah, like I said before, this is what's causing this, not Trump's chaos.
And by the way, this is not happening in places, Democrat-run cities like Memphis, Democrat-run cities like DC, because they're cooperating and they're following the law and they're doing what they are legally obligated to do. So you don't see this chaos in those cities because it's only happening in blue cities. No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Because there aren't people trying to impede law enforcement. Because when you try to impede law enforcement, I don't care if you're spitting on them, you won't let them out of the car. They don't have to use that much force. I'm sorry, don't use any force against law enforcement when you're not involved. They're not trying to arrest you. There you go. All right, let's see. Star Driver, I didn't have Uncle Festerman as the voice of reason for the Democrats on my bingo card. Me either.
But he deserves credit though, because he
does 100%.
Everything Democrat
Yes.
and being. I don't agree with everything he said and everything he does, but the fact that he has enough courage and gumption to actually speak out and speak what he believes to be true and stick to it, not sell out. At least. And I was heavily critical of Fetterman and criticized him. So I owe him an apology if I ever get a chance to see him. But I applaud him for actually being, having common sense and logic there. And rational.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I did not have the stroke victim as the most sensible Democrat ever, right? And I a lot of his stuff, I'll pull it for radio shows that I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I should play this. I can't listen to it. I can't. His speech ability, ability is still horribly affected by the stroke. Very difficult.
Still makes more sense than most Democrats. Think of it that way. So,
Good point.
Yeah.
Ron says they also seem to want to saturate the media to suppress coverage of any other topic. See, that's exactly what you were saying. Another Tafaha. Another, thank you. You're new. Please follow. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Was Epstein a spy for a foreign government? Ooh, good question. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on with Epstein. I don't even know what to believe in. I have no time or desire to read 3 million files that are released. So I just kind of don't really pay much mind to it. It's horrible. I want everyone who suffered, victims, that went through all that to get justice. Unfortunately, he's dead now. So there's not much, unfortunately, that he can be suffered from on the scales of justice. Right. But everything with that, who knows what's true, what's not. There's so many things going out there that aren't true, that aren't turn out. It's just, a big mess.
There's a lot of stuff in the quote unquote Epstein files,
right,
that are old allegations that, were later recanted. I was lying. I was pressured to lie. What about, Trump was, accused by 20 some women. I'm like, where did those cases go? Where did they go? Gloria Allred back down. So some of those women who were underage at the time said, oh, when I was 13, I was on Epstein. I said, Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. And we found out that wasn't true. And she recanted it. But it's still in the Epstein files. So they're like, look, he's a pedophile. Right. I'm like, dude, this much research, this much. And
the main thing I think with all this is just the Epstein files is just this term's version of the Russian collusion.
Right. Russia.
I say that because if there was any legitimate damaging thing that Trump did, I would think that when Biden was in office, they would have gone after him and
of course,
held him accountable for that. So
that would have been leaked out, like his taxes.
Yeah.
100%.
I can't really 100%. Hold much, truth to the fact that all these damaging things are in the Epstein files, and all of a sudden, in lock, all these Democrats are saying the same thing, which is what you see when they're given their orders from their DNC overlords to do this. They kind of just regurgitate and repeat the same thing. And my thing is, maybe, and I could be wrong, I guess. I'm not a lawyer, but if there were these egregious things going on, why didn't it not happen? Why did not one Democrat ever talk about Epstein files during Biden's term in office at all?
Right. Exactly. They could have released it. It's total BS.
Just, they cared so much about the victims getting, retribution and justice. Why didn't they? Does the victim not really get, deserve justice when Biden was in office? So
of course not. Right.
Yeah.
Suze says Fetterman is my senator, not because of me, but he has been so common sense on these issues. I thank him for that. Yeah.
Yes.
The Democrat Party is the large. Here's another new account. This is wonderful. All of you new people here on the chat, on the live cast. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Please like. Mwah, love you. I have no idea what this person's name is. The Democrat Party is the largest cult in America. No diversity of thought and demands full allegiance despite any wrongdoing. And they'll call us, they'll say we're a cult. I'm like, okay. Here's another one. Jesus is king and Trump is your earthly forever daddy. I'm winning on my side of the fence. I don't know about you. I love it. Let's see. Boy, all these new accounts. You admit you make me a suitable wife. I can offer 2 goats and a chicken for the blessing of your village elders. That is hilarious. And you know what?
Definitely.
My parents are still alive. You might be able to work a deal. We might have to buy me off from the IT department, but who's renting the U-Hauls? That's a great question. You can easily find this out. It's all NGO money that makes it hard to trace. Yes, that's why I say you got to find out who paid you and start there and work your way back to get to. You got to start at the bottom. Like when you're trying to find out who the big drug kingpin is, you got to start with the local dealers and you got to work your way up.
Actually, and I have another suggestion. So to all your audience members who are generally interested in this, one way they can find this out is I don't know if you, Mary, or if anyone you're in the audience are familiar with the group Indivisible. It's one of the. Okay, I figured you were, but just you know what they say when you assume. So one thing about this, you can actually sign up to join and listen in on Indivisible protests, and they tell you what they're doing strategy-wise, everything they're planning. So if people are genuinely interested, it doesn't cost anything. You can remain anonymous. You can send them an email. You could just, if you want to be somewhat disruptive, whatever you want to do. I don't care about that if you disrupt the meetings. But it's just, they tell you what they're doing on this, and they give you their whole textbook plan, and you can see the scary part is you can actually see how organized and well funded they are. But from an audience member, you could just see what they're planning to do and find out information of people involved if you really are that, curious.
All right. Quickly, Koi Keo says, sorry to hear about kicking Granny's dementia condition. She had a good peach cobbler recipe. I don't like to do personal attacks. Sal says, but free speech and diversity opinion promotes anarchy. Just ask most Democrats in the DSA. Let's see. Watching your back. John Edward, Democratic cities and states shut down the country during COVID, causing massive unemployment. But yes, somehow that's Trump's fault. Open your eyes. Keep up the great work, ICE. Another newcomer. Thank you. So many wonderful people. Thank you. Bullwinkle is probably in the communist climate change religious cult. Yes, we're suffering greatly from global warming right now.
Yes.
And I just saw a report that the ice in Antarctica is expanding at rapid paces. And now I got cat hair in my eye because it's flying all around here.
So wait, the climate alarmists were wrong?
Yeah, I know. Well, now it's just change. Star Driver says, preach it, Chris. Remember, the moral left caused billions of dollars in damage during the summer of love.
Yes. This is the winner of love, I guess.
There you go. Stems are arguing the moral high ground. That's hilarious.
Indeed.
Commie bowling is fun. Okay. Go Fish, another new account. Nobody has to pay people to be against pedophile protectors. And that's what they're doing. But they have a finger pointing at us like we're protecting a pedophile. Yeah. Here's the thing. They're literally out there. Sorry. ICE is trying to get these people who have raped children, who have trafficked children, who have beaten their wives, are wanted for murder. One guy that they were arresting, and those morons were out there trying to stop it, was convicted, triple homicide in his home country. What is wrong?
Okay. I apologize. I misread that. I thought that was a shot at the whole Epstein files of the pedophiles. So that's why I mentioned Bill Gates. But
nobody has to pay people to be against pedophile protectors and with fingers pointing at us. So I think that's the allegation that Trump's a pedophile. Trump's a pedo.
How Bill Gates and all his left-wing charitable work there with the reviews of the Epstein files. So, or Bill Clinton who ran away from Congress. So.
Yeah, the lady that stood in front of the car and got bounced off was the car damage. Yes, she was large. She was fine. She's got some bruises. She's a kid. It was one of those protests where the school said, go out and protest. So now the parents are really pissed off at the school. Hermit, I think Fetterman will be looked upon as the enemy and will be primaried. I think you're right. Absolutely. Star Driver, the chaos in Minneapolis is created to deflect from the billions of money stolen. True. But while all of this is going on, they're still churning away looking.
That's absolutely true. You notice how that is completely not talked about at all anymore. It was like Somali fraud for the subsidies daycares in Minnesota, and then like almost I would say like the next day or the next week, all this stuff with ICE happened, and then was just like pushed out of the news cycle.
Yeah. Art says Dems are going to give Fetterman the Joe Lieberman treatment. Yep, just like Hermit Sal said. If Epstein was a spy, that might justify his 17 visits to the White House when the Clintons were there. Ah,
touche.
There you go. Star Driver says, by the way, everyone be sad. The Leering Center closed. It did. The sign's gone off the Leering Center. Still changed. What is this? Check back, Woot, and still changed both. I have no idea what that means. Chris, can someone explain the 200 emails between Schiff and Epstein?
Yeah, no, I can't. I have no idea. I mean, and would Schiff be honest with them anyway? I mean, we're still waiting for all the mountains of evidence that he has to show Russian collusion. So good luck on getting, honest commentary about that.
Yeah. Koi Keo says, well, I'm not a forensic scientist, but I do wear a lab coat and black socks in Walmart. Okay. Another new one, Nicholas. Oh no, Nicholas has been here before. Mary and Christopher, thank you for the program. Bottom line, it's liberal double standard in practice. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Oh, I changed nothing. I'll better check back in. I changed nothing. See, we told you, Mango. Just had to check out and come back in. Just got to reboot it. All of these new listeners equal Tremoglie. Tremoglie equals ratings.
Stop.
Yeah, it's true.
Very kind of you.
Okay. Let's see. Run the numbers on the U-Haul trucks. All right. One thing I do want to get to is Harry Anton over on CNN, who I love Harry Anton, even when he's giving me bad news, just because the way he does it, he's so enthusiastic. Like everything is he's so over the top, and he's just so New York. So those are my people. So I just love his whole, you're the Philly guy. I just love the New Yorkness of Harry Anton. So talking about ID to vote, and in 2018, 76% of people, 2018, 2021, 2023, 76% of people polled were for ID to vote. In 2024, that jumped up to 81%. And in 2025, it's up to 83%. Why would you think that is?
So funny, because you always hear how Democrats taunt or flaunt public opinion polls, right? They're always talking about, public opinion polls for this. And yet for voter ID, you don't hear them talking about public opinion polls. It's all of a sudden Jim Crow 2.0, as Chuck Schumer said. So we got
That's right. I get to sit
over
all the time.
4 out of 5 Americans support voter ID, yet once again, Democrats are apparently calling these people, racist and segregationists, because this is for Jim Crow 2.0. So the reason, I mean, you don't need to be a genius, and you could have the intellect level of Bullwinkle there to kind of realize that this is being done because it benefits Democrats. There's whole stuff where some people are marginalized and they can't get their own ID. Let me tell you how nonsense that is, because the insinuation is, for whatever reason, poor people of any race, but Democrats like to specifically use non-white people, but typically it's the poor, low-income people of any race, for some reason, are unable to get identifications. Yet SNAP benefits, which are assistance given to government assistance given to people for food, and if they have low income, you need an ID to get SNAP benefits. So how could you be poor enough for SNAP benefits ID, but you're too poor to get an ID for voting? It's a lie. It's completely nonsense, and they're doing this because they have. I don't even know why they're doing this. I mean, I know why they're doing this, but I don't know how people believe why they're doing this. To this claim that some people can't get IDs. One, it is super insulting to Americans.
Super racist. Super racist.
And it's just it's not true, which is the more important thing. It's all a lie to basically hide the shenanigans and other kind of malfeasance that's going on with Democrats in voting. You don't have to. It's so obvious at this point, especially when they talk about the thing that no one brings this up, actually, that I've heard about the SNAP benefits. And I came across this realization during the government shutdown, when everyone was freaking about SNAP benefits and people weren't getting them. And I looked up about SNAP benefits, and then the first thing I saw was like, you need a government ID. I was like, well, wait a minute. This is specifically a program for people of a lower income level and poor people in this country to get up to some sized food, and yet you need an ID for it. So poor people can get IDs. It's everything Democrats have been saying is a lie regarding this.
Well, the difference is you have to be able to prove that you're a citizen. So just because you have a driver's license, like in the state of New Jersey, doesn't mean you're a citizen, because a lot of states give out driver's licenses. So what you need, because everybody's saying married women who change their name won't be able to vote. It's a load of BS. According to the bill, valid forms of documentary proof include a U.S. passport, a real ID compliant ID that indicates citizenship.
Okay.
An enhanced driver's license, which is available in a couple of states, a government issued photo ID showing the U.S. as your birthplace, such as a passport card, and a U.S. military ID if shown alongside a military record of service showing the U.S. as the applicant's birthplace. Now, I didn't change my name when I got married because my husband has a long Italian last name. No offense to you. Because I remember the first time I met you, I'm like, Tremoglie? How do we say what?
Well,
You know,
did you hear
so, and nobody knows how to spell it.
The other day, it was like funny. So I get that all the time. So I empathize with you on that one.
Yeah. So, I didn't do it because I figured if changing your name when you get married was like a really cool, fun thing to do, men would have snatched that right up in the beginning, and they didn't. So they said, you do it. So I figured that's no fun. But when you do that, you have to bring like your birth certificate, and you got to bring all this stuff, and you got to cart it around to all these different places to change it on Social Security and all that stuff, right? Your Social Security number, your driver's license, all that. So women have all of this documentation. If you lost it in a fire or something, you can, like, I have no clue where my birth certificate is and the hospital closed, but I can get a copy if I need it.
Right.
You can still get a copy. I'm sure there's someone, unless some guy in Nigeria has a copy of it. You can also present other government issued photo IDs if they are shown alongside a certified birth certificate, a record of birth from a U.S. hospital, adoption records, a consular birth report, a naturalization certificate, or an American Indian card with the classification KIC, designating U.S. citizenship for members born of the Kickapoo tribes of Texas and Oklahoma. So there's a lot of way. It's all total BS.
Yeah, in tribes, you're able to get that.
Did you even know the Kickapoo were like? Did you even know the Kickapoo were like a legit tribe? Like, I had no clue the Kickapoo were a legit tribe. No clue. No clue.
I mean, but as you said, though, it can be done. It's easily done. The fact that people are too poor or whatever, oppressive thing they have to go for to handle, or the inconvenience they have to deal, it can be done. They probably have it already, so I can't even say it's much of an inconvenience. I mean, you need all this stuff if you're going to a hospital and the government subsidies for everything. So all of this is just nonsense. It's a lie. It's another Democrat lie to kind of hide and gloss over their the shady tactics that they're doing.
Right. And also a little bit more for favoring voter ID, 71% of Democrats and 95% of Republicans. The fact that there's still that small portion of Democrats are, I hate to say it, the white liberal women who are just
absolutely
so far gone. I feel bad for guys who, especially younger men who want to get married, and they're just faced with these raging lunatic psychopaths as their only option. You're single, right?
I am, yes.
So, I mean, is it hard? Because there's a good portion of women your age who have lost, they've just, boom, checked out and gone to crazy town.
Yeah, so there was an article I wrote about a little bit less than a year ago, and it was entitled, Single White Liberal Women Are Insufferable. And it basically had to do, there was this dating show. I forget what, Love Island, Love Dating.
Yeah, Love Island,
whatever.
probably, yeah.
I don't even, it might not even be the right name of the show, but it was the scenario that played. It was, I think the couple were supposed to get married, but the woman broke it off because
yes, I saw that.
Something with he
at
wasn't
the altar.
Something that he wasn't in support of the George Floyd riots or Black Lives Matter or some ridiculous cult devotion that she wanted. And that's fine. I was like, God, liberal white women single liberal are just insufferable. And it's just like you just reading that you would pass up on someone who's, apparently you love them, apparently a good person in your eyes, who does obviously has great traits that you were considering marrying them. And yet, the thing that broke the bond there is the fact that they didn't support people protesting and rioting and destroying a city because of a Democrat lie about police interactions and shootings. So,
but here's the thing it wasn't that he didn't support it. He didn't have an opinion.
Right. He
That
didn't
was
cow
worse.
down and like
He
down
didn't, he's
after.
like, I haven't really thought about it. And
Yeah.
that was a deal breaker for her because it was not a full focus of his life.
Exactly.
She walked out, and I guarantee you she is single today. Guarantee it. By the way, the breakdown for voter ID, 85% of white respondents, 82% of Latino respondents, and 76% of Black respondents.
There is literally only one demographic in this country who's against voter ID. Like you said, probably white liberal women, or just liberals, radical liberals in general. And Democrats are making it like, it's the marginalized, oppressed Olympics to get an ID. So the Republicans and Democrats should hammer away at this and flaunt these polls, because it's just, they are definitely on the right side of everything on this. And they're, they just, especially with the SAVE Act and all this stuff, go after it now and keep hammering it home and get this done, because it's important, number one, for our country's election security, but it's just common sense, number two.
Oh, 100%. The awfuls. What did they call? Greg Gutfeld labeled them the awfuls. Something white, liberal,
feminists,
something women. No, awful. AWFUL. Okay. So it's
white. Oh, I don't know. I
could probably. Yeah, I don't know.
Females,
I forget.
White females under liberal. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Star says you saw a video last week of a Somali man's Lamborghini being seized by the FBI. I have to tell you, I saw that and someone said it was a parody. It wasn't real. So I don't know if that was real or not. Nicholas, did you see how Jesse Ventura has gone crazy? He turned into a leftist lunatic. I did not see that. Did you see that?
Yeah, he did that a while ago. He came out a couple of weeks ago, I saw, when all this stuff was going on in ICE. But, he had the Reform Party run as governor in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, whenever it was. But then he kind of just drifted further and further left over the years. So, I don't really hold too much about what he says.
I did like him in the beginning.
Yeah,
I did.
He made, again, I don't know what caused it, or maybe he was just masquerading, or maybe he even changed, but who knows. But he made sense, from what I recall. Can't say I'm the biggest devoted fan of Ventura's political career, but, he did make sense when he was the Reform Party. But then he kind of just went off the deep end.
Yeah. Just going to bounce around because we're at the end here. So I'm trying to slam everything in here. Did you see that we were talking about tribes, the Kickapoo? Like, I never thought that was a real thing. The Tongva tribe in California.
I've heard of that one.
Okay. But did you see what happened?
No.
Okay. So they sent a letter to Billie Eilish's people.
Yes, I did see this. Yes.
We appreciate the opportunity to provide clarity regarding the recent comments made by Billie Eilish. As the first people of the greater Los Angeles basin, we do understand that her home is situated in our ancestral land. Eilish has not contacted our tribe directly regarding the property.
Good for them, because they just knock this stuff out of the solar system here with this ridiculous stuff. And again, white liberal women, right? We're just talking about how insufferable they are. Billie Eilish, the fact that you say something so stupid like that, and I think she lives in California, right? So just having any elementary school level knowledge of history in California, it was a big Native American land back, in the 14, 15, 1600s, 1700s, 18, whatever it was, all those years, to make a comment like that, not realizing how exposed you would leave yourself, is just, reflective of the sheer stupidity of their ideology.
Well, she bought this at a $5 million mansion when she was 17. So, she comes from whose daughter is she? Is she Rob Schneider's daughter?
No, impossible.
She's someone famous's daughter.
Okay. So she's a Nepo baby to begin with. Then.
She is.
Alrighty.
Parents. Oh no, they're not. Okay. They're actors and musicians. So that's her parents. But so she lives behind a gate. She's been pampered and protected her entire life. She doesn't live in reality, and she's just gonna ignore this. But I would love to see homeless people try to camp on her property, or members of the tribe try to camp on her property. They should.
Illegal immigrants try to enter her property, or
right, exactly.
Tribes protest outside and demand. That's what they should do. They should start demanding Billie Eilish give back the stolen land.
I agree. It'd be great. Thank you. R. Grangeness says I'm adorable. Are you listening to that, honey? I'm adorable. I'm going to ride that pony for a while then. This whole I'm adorable thing. He'll say something later and I'll go, I can do whatever I want because I'm adorable. He just yelled. I heard it. Okay. Here's a good point. Democrats don't need illegals to vote because they vote for them. They already have their names and addresses with the driver's licenses they gave them, and the Dems will vote for them with mail-in ballots. It's a great point. Section 8. Porch View's here. Hello, Porch View. Patrick, you need a government ID. Yeah, but again, government ID, you have to have something that proves that you were born here. So it's a little bit different than
but
just.
It's still very doable. So
it is 100% doable. 100% doable. Star Driver says, by the way, New York gave out real ID CDLs to illegals. Of course they did. Well, that's okay. The city of New York City is learning very quickly what it's like to live under a socialist, and they're not super happy. Imagine that.
Or is Virginia?
Well, and New Jersey's right after that. Sue says, I only changed my name because Jeff's name was easy. It's just such a pain in the butt to do. There is no need for this because you provide this when you register to vote. Or that's not true. That's not true, Joe. You don't provide that information when you register to vote. In New Jersey, if you've got a driver's license in New Jersey and they give them to non-citizens, they give them driver's licenses and you go to renew it online, a screen pops up because I just watched my husband do it. He's like, look at this. It says, would you like to register to vote? And it says, and you just check the box. Yes, I would like to register to vote. Are you a citizen? Yeah. Remember, it's illegal to vote if you're not a citizen. All you have to do is check the box. That's it. Zero proof. That's why this is in play.
As a journalist, I would love to actually try to do something like that. Register a fake name. I just don't want to get, arrested for, trying to create a fake identity. So if there was some way you kind of like run that through and see if it actually got approved, that would be wonderful. But, I don't want that to happen and have government agents knocking at my door saying I was trying to create a false identity.
Right, vote illegally, right? Yeah. Porchview says, my husband has a state ID. We couldn't get his birth certificate. He lost all his papers in a fire. You can go, if the hospital is still there, and ask them for the records and ask for a copy of your birth certificate. You need a certified copy. If the hospital is no longer there, you can write to the registrar or to the state, the registrar of the county or the state, and ask for a certified copy of your birth certificate. Salvation Army didn't have to do that, but it's good that you got somebody else to do that. Sal, I hear that you can get a birth certificate from Somalia. Here it is. Angry white female uneducated liberal socialist.
There you go. That's a good one.
Thank you, Star Driver. Thank you. Reality TV is your reference point. Well, yeah, it's a real thing that happened. She dumped him at the altar because he refused to acknowledge something that she thought was really super. I got a George Floyd statue next to my booster tent. She's not single. She's not single now. She has 50 cats. Oh, very quickly, we have a question for you. Greg always pops in with like a serious question for guests. He's really good. I wonder what was the shortest amount of time that it took Mr. Tremoglie to complete a piece for publication.
I'm assuming before I worked for the Examiner, a while. But I mean, obviously now I just write it and I get it published. So, but when I first started writing, it took me years to actually get something published in a reputable, like the Philadelphia Inquirer, for example. I pitched and pitched and pitched to try to get it. I never got accepted until I went to Penn, and then I emailed from a penn.edu. Swear to God, true story. Penn.edu email, and they got accepted for publication. So a long time. It just is a very arduous, difficult, challenging task. Unfortunately, much more than it needs to be.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about Republicans trying to restrict mail-in voting? They should. I know someone in Washington, D.C. during the 2020 election who lived in an apartment and got 5 ballots, 5 with 5 different names on them who used to live in that address. 5 ballots.
See, so I would disagree with you in that because I would push for reform, obviously, but I also think it's a good tool that Republicans should and can use for electoral success. And I think it actually mail-in ballots were a key part of Trump winning in Pennsylvania in 2024. So there's room obviously needs some reform without a doubt, but it could be something that Republicans should get behind and use, because Democrats are doing it, and you're obviously going to either lose the race to them or kind of like get a adapt, so to speak.
Well, absentee ballots. I mean, I just think it needs to be absentee ballots. Like in New Jersey, if I was going to be out of the country or I wasn't going to be in New Jersey or for whatever reason, you had to request an absentee ballot. They sent it to you. You voted, you mailed it back.
Right.
But just mailing out absentee ballots all over the place is ridiculous.
There could be reform, but it could be used beneficially.
I guarantee you, I never registered to vote when I was living in Maryland, when I was working in DC. But I would not be surprised at all if a ballot with my name on it was at that address.
Makes
right?
sense.
I never registered, but to get in, I don't know if you would know the person, but 5 ballots. So I know him. I know he was telling the truth. 5 ballots in other people's names to his address.
And so that would be interesting how, and again, I don't know how this would all, say the person, filled out the ballot to send them in, but then that person actually went to, either filled out a ballot from where they live now or went to a voting place. Would their vote not be counted? Would there be red flags, or would it just be more due to government incompetence?
That's the problem. If someone voted in your name through mail-in ballot and you go to register to vote, like, so if they mail it in and it's counted before election day, if you go to vote on election day, you can only cast a provisional ballot because you already voted.
Right. I do remember calling that for an absentee ballot. Yeah. No, so obviously there needs to be reform. I think we have enough intelligent people in this world to kind of come up with a creative and fair way to do this and make it fair. But as far as elections, as the way it stands now, I mean, like I said, Democrats are going to use this. Republicans got to use it too, to kind of, either work on reforming it to make it more honest and legitimate. But it's just a tool to openly reject mail-in ballots when you can be using them to kind of get for help for electoral success, I think would be a mistake.
You don't have to reject them. Just bring them back to what they used to be, absentee ballots.
Yeah.
If for some reason, right, you have to request it. Government can't do everything for you. You have to request it. If you don't request it, you're not that interested in voting.
Yeah, you're right. Good point.
You're not interested in voting. If you can't, and if you're like homebound, you got all day. You got all day, every day to request an absentee ballot, right? It's not like it's going to interfere with the other things you're doing.
Phone now, you can even do it on your phone.
No, not on the phone. Baloney. No.
I'm saying
you don't think that's easy?
To request an absolute ballot, you can use it on your phone to do it.
The problem with that is somebody can request it not in your address then if they can get into your phone. No. Do it the old-fashioned way. It worked. There was nothing wrong with it. It was much harder to screw with.
I hear you.
I also think we get rid of the electronic voting machines and it all goes back to paper. That's it. It worked.
It did. But there was plenty of fraud with paper ballots too.
There may have been, but it was harder.
Yes.
There may have been, but it was harder. Listen, someone testified in Georgia, and this is what they're looking at in Fulton County. And she testified, but we weren't allowed to talk about it then because then you were an insurrectionist and an election denier. And she testified that boxes came in of absentee ballots, of mail-in ballots that had never even been folded.
Wow.
So they weren't mailed, and they were 100% for Joe Biden.
Yeah, so that's the thing. When you see that, that's just like, wait a minute now. This country doesn't have anything that's 100% unification. So.
Well, that's what she said. She knew, and they hadn't even been folded. So how were these mailed if they hadn't even been folded?
Yeah.
But you couldn't talk about it. You couldn't bring it up. You couldn't question it. So I think we give them nothing to question. Let's go back to the old-fashioned way. Because even people with the electronic voting machines, I've seen video after video of people trying to pick Donald Trump and it defaulted to Kamala Harris. Pick Donald Trump and video defaulted to Kamala Harris. And older people don't know how to use the machines. They don't. They don't. And we can laugh at them, but when we get up there, there's going to be something there that we don't know how to use, right?
Like they're before the grace of God. In 30 years, what the voting is going to be.
I try to be very, very I try to be very, very patient with older people because the world's changed a whole lot, and it's going to change a whole lot when we get there.
Yeah.
And then some of these older people who are going to vote have no clue. They're like President Pudding Pants. They don't know where they are. And there's someone in the voting booth with them. And I overheard this conversation once, and the woman didn't even know what she was doing. And you know that the person in that voting booth voted for them.
Right. Yeah.
That's not right.
No, it's not right at all.
That's not right. Okay, Art, this show cannot end until the notorious ITG makes a cameo. Well, Art, do you want to tell him, Chris? The notorious ITG made a cameo and you missed it, Art.
You missed it. I thought he meant like another cameo now. Okay.
Yeah, he wants one now, but ITG made his cameo already.
Yes.
Sorry, Art. I don't know. He made it. Oh, Hermit, thank you so much. I'm never going to put that up there, but it's sweet. But thank you so much. Mangle, Pennsylvania, New York, California, and a few other states give CDLs to illegal. Yes, they do. They do. Let's see. Any West Coast handed out CDLs to illegals like it was a Pez dispenser. Oh, here's another new one. I worry every year that my deceased parents are going to vote Democrat. Well, Cindy, let me ask you. I'm sorry that your parents are deceased. And by the way, thank you for joining us. I hope you subscribe and you like. Did you take your parents off the voting rolls when they died? I hope you did. So people don't do that when they move, when parents die, they don't do it. And then you wind up with all the people 130 years old on the voting rolls. And we're like, I think we can take them off. So where are we? Here's another new one. Jason, I saw Trump rape Don Lemon on Epstein Island. Motor voter is a huge problem. Yes, it is. In-person voting only. Yes. I'm saying that reality TV is your reference point for liberal women. Well, I actually know some in my real life who
my romantic life
don't talk
is
to me.
A reference point, so.
They unfriended me. I did not unfriend them. They unfriended me. Are you making a command performance for your bro?
Yeah, I want to say, buds have to stick together.
I'm glad you put on a clean sweatshirt for him.
But maybe we should punish him for being late.
Oh, I don't know if you can. Did you hear him?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're late, Art.
Exactly.
How badly do you want it, Art? This is turning weird. This is taking a weird turn. Well, listen, he's your buddy, so it's up to you.
All right, I'll give him a quickie. Hello.
Okay, you give him a quickie. That's a weird turn.
There you go. 2 cameos.
2 cameos in one night. Bases, Newsmax is propaganda. Well, I'll be on it on Friday at around 11:15 in the morning. So please join me for the propaganda. There hasn't been any evidence of voter fraud. Hilarious. All you have to do is change up your news sources, syrup, and you'd get it. You would know. But that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine. I can't make people. I don't know about you, and we got to go then. We're going to go. I will watch at least once every day. I will hit, because I do them in the order on my system, my TV system. So I do News Nation, then I do Fox, then I do CNN, then I hit MSNBC, and then I hit Newsmax. So I hit all of them to just try to get a good feel of everybody's spin on the stories, just to see.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Older people can't physically move their bodies. So, what? My parents are in their all of our parents are all in their 90s, and my father still walks the stairs up to their apartment. So wait, what?
Yeah, that's just the typical arrogance that left-wingers have about,
right.
Old people, non-white people, whatever you want to kind of like, the target of their affection, quote unquote, and I use affection in quotes.
Yeah. Well, it's what is it? The empathy of destruction, something like that.
There you go. That's a good point.
They take it into Porch View research voter and election fraud in Cleveland. It was still a paper ballot at the time. Some of the really old folks used to get horse-drawn deliveries of ice each day. Okay, I don't think those people are alive anymore, because that was my grandparents. My grandparents used to get that in Kearney and in Newark and Elizabeth, but I think that's been long gone, because even my grandparents had what they called an ice box.
Right.
My grandparents used to call it an ice box.
Yeah,
but I think those days are totally over. So, all right. How did the deceased get ID to vote? That's a problem. It's hard for 5 million truckers to be home to vote. I'm on the road. Right. So you would request an absentee ballot. Okay. Simple. You're going to be on the road. You request an absentee ballot.
That's the thing that you're requesting. You're not being sent one.
Right. It's not just sent to you, and you have to request it. Yeah. Art, you're my boy, Blue. Yeah, Syrup, you know what? Syrup wants you all to know that Trump is a pedo
Sure.
and that we're proud of him. But if I ask Syrup for proof, I'll get nothing.
Yeah.
Because every liberal that I ask, prove it, I get nothing. They call me names and then they block me, or they just run and I never hear from them again. So that's why I didn't put your comment up there, Syrup, because Syrupy, because it's nonsense and you're never going to respond and it's a waste of my time. So, but thank you for
Syrupy never
me.
said anything about that during January 20th, 2021 to January 19th, 2025. So shush.
Can Oliver make a cameo appearance? He was here earlier. Oliver was here earlier. That's when I had all the cat hair going in my face and I was like rubbing my nose and everything in my eyes. He was here earlier, but it's dinner time. So he's being fed right now. All right, guys, we're out of here. Does Chris know you, fellow UPenn alum, Elon Musk?
Personally, unfortunately, no. But that's something to aspire to on my list for sure.
Oh, what just happened? Did we time out my TV? Hold on. What happened? Uh-oh, timed out, I guess. I didn't know it times out. This is something. Oh, look at that. Angry Birds. Hold on. We'll get it back.
Well, that's a good idea. I'm going to actually have to steal that, idea from you for a background.
Feel free. So we
I
have
don't think I have the TV, so I have to probably change my entire.
We had to buy it. There we go. And we're back. I guess it times out. Fellow UPenn alum Elon Musk. No, you do not. Okay. Syrup's talking about people who can't move their bodies. If they can't move their bodies, then they can request a absentee ballot.
Yeah. This isn't rocket science here, guys.
Yeah, it's been done. We'll somehow figure it out. My dad in St. Paul, Minnesota had horse-drawn trash pickup milk delivery. I don't know about Ice Baby. Thank you, Jenla. Appreciate you joining us. And please subscribe and like. When I was a kid, because I lived in New Jersey, but really rural New Jersey, the main street at the time was dirt, and they did pave it. We had several dirt roads, and we had to go to the main road, the dirt road, to get our mail.
Okay.
We had to walk down there, which it wasn't that far because we walked everywhere back then. But our neighbors had lives, horses and sheep and this and that and everything else. And the girl who delivered our paper did it on. We had a paper girl, and she rode her horse. So she rode her horse.
So I don't
do her route.
I don't have anything like that, but I do have as far as milk delivery in suburban Montgomery County at my parents' house. I want to say up into the 2000s, maybe even like past the 2010s. We did have milk delivery. But Rosenberg's, I think it was called. I think that's the brand name. They would. Obviously we buy our own milk too. But twice a week we would get our own milk delivery, kind of like harkening back to the old days, so to speak. But
that came back. That became fashionable again. So when we were kids, the milkman brought milk, eggs, butter, cheese.
Oh wow, okay.
And then we also had deliveries. Well, we had the Charlie Chip man, so we got potato chips and pretzels. And then, and sometimes cheese doodles, which was great. And it was all delivered to the house in canisters. When your can was empty, you just put it out and he'd bring it back, a new one. And then at Christmas, they would have cookies. So we would get those. Okay. And then we also had delivered, Charlie Chip. Soda, Hoffman Beverages. We had the soda man. And you had a list that you would leave with all your empty soda bottles of how many, and they were big, bottles. And glass, and you would put them out there with a note with an order form of what you wanted in return, and he'd fill it up and then leave it and then take the old ones back.
So it was like that was the original Uber Eats, basically.
It was, and because the grocery store was 20 minutes away.
Okay.
And then we grew we grew all our own vegetables except the stuff we couldn't grow. We would walk up to the farm, which for kids it was a half-day trip. We'd walk to the farm and get whatever vegetables we needed and bring them home. And for meat, we had a farm. My mom would go to the farm and order like so many chickens and half a cow and many pigs and all that stuff. And it would all come butchered. It would come butchered, wrapped in white paper, and we had a freezer. And so and then like things like hot dogs and all that stuff, we went to the butcher And it was, he made hot dogs. He made and we would get bologna and all that stuff there. So when I was a kid, the only thing I ever wanted was Oscar Mayer bologna. And my mother was like, no, right? Like we had no clue that we were getting good stuff. Like I wanted Oscar Mayer hot dogs, but the butcher, Mr. Starr, actually made the hot dogs and he made the sausage. So when I got out of the house, I had never, ever been taught how to buy meat in a store. I had no clue because you just go to the freezer and you get chicken breast, whatever it was labeled that my mother wanted, you got it out of the freezer. And it was fresh from the farm. So
okay.
I made up for all that freshness by drinking water out of the hose from a well in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. So now here's a question, and maybe people in your audience. My dad mentioned something when he was younger that there was someone that would go around, and I could be wrong on this, but it was like they sold a cleaning chemical, or it was a Clorox person, or
was it the Fuller Brush Man?
I don't know. I might have to like text him after this, but
they did stuff like that. But that was more like
and it was in this city too, so it wasn't rural. But someone would come around and sell like a cleaning chemical, fantastic cleaning chemical. I want to say, I don't have to double check, but if anyone knows what I'm talking about, feel free to comment.
Nobody drove down our street. When a car went down our street,
too rural and more of an urban thing. So
yeah, when a car went down our street, we're like, "Oh, there's a car!" You know, like we would go ready to see who it was. You know, so Star Driver wanted to know how many people have blocked me so far on my page. Now, this is a rough estimate because sometimes they block me and I don't get it unless I don't notice. So I'm at 159 fragile libs since August of 2025 have blocked me. So I keep a body count, but like I said, that's a rough deficit. It's probably a lot more, and I don't know.
Right.
Unless they announce it or I go to respond and can't.
The funny thing is, like, they'll contact you or respond to you and then block you. It's not like you initiated. It's like they initiated.
Right.
So I get this on Twitter all the time. I'll write something, or actually I'll post something, or I'll respond to someone's comment, and then someone will respond to mine, giving me an insult and then blocking me. And I'm like, you don't even give me a chance to respond, number one. And like, who does that? Like, you just initiate contact just to block them. Baffling.
Right. A Syrupy says, oh, Trump's a pedo because he was found civilly liable for groping E. Jean Carroll, who doesn't remember when it happened. But that doesn't make him a pedophile, which is really weird.
Look up in a dictionary what that means there, sir.
Right. You might want to, yeah, exactly. And you also might want to look up how in her book how many men she has accused of physically assaulting her. And when she said on Anderson Cooper's that rape is a fantasy or something like that.
To say that. Yeah, like her description of what that was. So very credible source there.
Yes, very credible. Jenna, thank you so much. She's from the Wendy Bell Radio Army. Yay, Jenna, thank you so much. You're cool with the group, it says your leader, blah, 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 blah. We used to get milk delivered, in the glass bottles, 100%. I may have to request an absentee ballot due to disability, unfortunately. Well, yeah, you might have to, but I've done it. It's easy to do. Yeah. I requested an absentee ballot. They just check to see that you're registered. They send it to the house. They mail it to you. You fill it out. Somebody mails it back for you.
It's one of the more efficient things that government actually does.
Exactly. Yeah. I had an Iceman for my Marine in the 70s. That makes sense.
I have to look.
We got sent to the store. 5 hours later, we came back soaking wet from a half-hour walk. Or we would go. We were allowed when we went to the farm. He was no dummy. Joe had and this was the same farm. If the stand was on the road, but if you went to the farm, because he would hire us to get the eggs out from under the chickens or milk the cows, and you got 5 cents for every bucket of milk, and I forget how much. I think they're like 10 cents for the basket of eggs or whatever that you got from under the chickens. And he had penny candy then in the front, which nobody had penny candy back when I grew up, right? But this was such a novelty for us. Oh my God, penny candy. This is the newest thing ever. My mother's like, we had penny candy as kids. So we had penny candy. And then whatever change we got from buying the vegetables, my mother would let us buy penny candy with it. And then whatever money we earned by milking the cows or getting the eggs from under the chickens, we'd spend it there buying penny candy. So it would make the trip home easy.
I hear you.
I know. It sounds like I grew up in Walton's
different time that I can relate to, unfortunately. So.
Well,
I don't even know if it was a different time or just different geography.
different geography, 100%. Yeah. Soda delivery in the 60s, as well as the milkman. Yep. We could not get chocolate milk. No, we couldn't get chocolate milk.
So
Or maybe we
had,
could,
like,
but my
cleaning
mother.
chemicals. Oh.
Chris, this is for you.
Yes.
How old is Chris? My daughter is a conservative single, just saying.
We could chat off screen on that if that'd be, yeah, I'll share my information if possible. But
well,
where do you live?
You can reach. Where do you live? Well, listen, take this to X. You can
Okay.
message him.
Yes, exactly.
See, is it Chris W. Tremo, right?
This is the love hour of the Mary Walter Radio Show.
Well, look at us connecting.
Yes,
Chris W. Tremo, Tremo, and you can message him on X. How's about that?
Thank you. And thank you for consideration.
Yes, Amway. Was it Amway? Is that what you're thinking about? And also Revlon, the Revlon lady, Amway, the Revlon, the Mary Kay lady. But that was like the 70s, 80s. Had to stop at the swimming hole on our way home. That was the other direction for us.
Definitely going to message my dad about that cleaning chemical perks. I know he told me.
Yeah.
Something they sold in the street. He was selling a cleaning chemical. And I don't know.
The knife sharpener in Chicago. We didn't have that. What? Okay, we gotta go. It's my husband's yelling at me. Why did the TV? Why did he may have just found a woman? We may have just found a woman for him.
I too could be getting married at Villanova.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
I too could be getting married at Villanova Chapel now. So
There we go. All right. So he's gonna. I guess he's gonna reach out to you. All right. We're out. I just got yelled at. So we're out of here. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Chris, for being here.
No problem.
Appreciate you. When are you
on married? You're definitely invited to the wedding. So
thank you. When are you on Newsmax again?
As of right now, I have no idea. So
okay. Porch View says Chris is an excellent catch for some lucky lady. Chris, we'll have you back. Maybe we could do some match.
There you go. The Bachelor episode of Mary Walter Radio. Here we go.
I would love that. If you're game, we could do that. All right, Chris. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. All right. I will be on Newsmax 11:15 Friday morning. I'll see you there. Something else may pop up. Follow me on X at Mary Walter Radio. I post everything there. My Facebook page, I have a group. It's public, Mary Walter Radio. I post it there. Same thing on Truth Social, Getter, Mary Walter Radio, and you will find it there. So thank you so much, everyone. I do appreciate you joining me. And have a great week, the rest of your week, and a great weekend. Bye.
Mary Walter Radio on the air tonight.